hello to you, all of my subscribers, and those of you who are just passing through. Make sure you subscribe, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Today we're going to be looking at a concept that has been come across my desk several times. To be honest with you, I never tried it out. It is plausible, it's doable. And so today when I tried it out, I was like, oh, this is not good. So we're going to see, can it be done? And if it can be done, is it worth doing? And that is remotely connecting to a radio DJ that is down the hall or even miles away. Now, most of us will use TeamViewer, AnyDesk, or any type of remote service to log into that computer and, work on that radio DJ right then and there. No problems, right? Well, some people wanted to know, if I set up a remote radio DJ and I connect to the database to my main radio DJ, can I control it? The answer is yes and no. And we're getting ready to see that today. You can control it, but to only a certain degree. But I'm going to show you something that's even worse if you do this. All right. So here I'm running, I threw up a radio DJ. It's got some music in there. You don't hear it because I'm not interested in hearing it. So if I right click on this and I go to track edit, it comes up. When it comes up, it tells me, this path tells me the location of the file. This is the problem with remote, doing it with, trying to connect to the database remotely. This S drive is on the computer that this radio DJ is running on. When you connect to a database, another radio DJ via the database, those files are not local. Those files are on the other computer. And I believe a lot of people are under the misunderstanding. They think the songs are stored in Radio DJ. No, the songs are not stored in Radio DJ. Radio DJ database just tells the location of the song so it can play it. That's all it does. Okay? So this path S drive, whatever, this path is on the local computer. I don't have any events in this, so there are no events to show. And that's good. I think, no, the other one doesn't have any events, but we'll look at that. So you see right now it's playing because it's playing local files, okay? If I was connected to a remote radio DJ's database, I will not be able to play those songs on this computer that is miles away because those files are not on this computer. The address will be loaded in, and we're going to show you that here in a minute, but I will not be able to play it. So what happens if you play a song that's not here? Have you ever played a song like, for instance, this Catherine Shipley? Okay, that song is here. I'm going to go and change. I'm going to go and change that song so that this radio DJ can't find it. Okay. So I know it's in this folder and it's Catherine Shipley. Watch this. All I'm going to do is on the end of this, add a space and a 1. Basically, I changed the name of the folder that this points to. Watch what happens now when I try to click on edit the track. It says it can't be found. Why? Because I changed the name of the folder. This is the only thing Radio DJ stores in the database. It is, MySQL is only storing the physical location of the files that it's playing. If the file name changes, you get this, can't be found. Let's see what else happens. So we know this can't be found now. It'll load into the queue. We're going to load it over into the queue. Oh, it popped right out. It popped right out because it knows it can't find it. All right, so because it couldn't find it, let's go to the track manager. The track manager has this feature called Show All. It's right across the top here. One of the filters is Show All, show the ones that are enabled, show the ones that are disabled, show the ones that are not found. Well, look at there. There's Catherine Shipley. Cannot be found. So if I right click on any of these, they all should come up, can't be found. Now I know why these other two can't be found, because they have been deleted from the hard drive. Catherine can't be found because we changed the name of the folder. Okay? When you change the name of the folder, you're going to mess up your Radio DJ. So now that you understand what happens when the Radio DJ cannot find the file, let's connect to a remote Radio DJ. So on my broadcast system, I have a Radio DJ over there called Test. And I loaded some stuff in. It doesn't have any events in it. But we're going to connect to that one remotely. So we're going to go to this installation of this Radio DJ. I think this is number 2. Because I was testing. This is this one here. And I'm going to shut it down. Get out of all of this. Okay. So I'm going to go to the database settings. Oh, no, better yet, let's go to setup. Just go to the setup folder and run the setup. All right. So this is what it currently connects to. But I want to connect to the Radio DJ that I have down the hall on another computer. I happen to know that the IP address of that computer is, I think is 86. I happen to know that it's 192.168.186, and the port number is a different port number. So it is the IP address of the computer, because I'm on the same network, but this computer is down the hall. And so because of that, I have to put in the IP address : the port to the MySQL. The name of the database is test1. We will be using root, and the password all right, so we'll put the password in. Now we're going to click validate to see if we can connect. Now it's green because it was connected locally, but now we're trying to connect to the MySQL that's on another computer, this one on our network, in another room. Now, if you was doing it across the internet, you will put the IP address of your router here along with the port number, but you have to forward the port in order for that to work. So let's hit validate. Okay, we got a non-connection. Now, I think it's because the root is not allowed to connect to that database. So I do have let me make a temporary, hold on. Let me go to that. I'm logged into that computer on another screen. So let me log in and create a user. And I'm doing that using Heidi SQL. So, let me get the laptop. So I'm going to make a user and I'll call it test. That's going to be the name of my user. I have to let this user connect from anywhere. And then, of course, the password. And on Heidi, I'm going to give it global, all of the global privileges. Let's save. Now let's see if this user will work. I said the user's name is test. And I kept the password the same. All right, still cannot get a connection. Let's make sure. Let's see. All right, still not a connection. We got to get a green connection in order for this to work. Okay, I did not know that the username on here is case sensitive. All right, so I'm connected remotely to another database. I just validated it. The name of that database is test1. The username is test. This username was created using Heidi SQL, and it allows me to connect from anywhere. So this is the equivalent of connecting to that other, connecting to the other remote. Let's see if that took over here, because I don't know if that took. I was sitting here thinking, did that take? It did take, okay. All right, so now if I launch this guy, it's going to show me what's on the Radio DJ down the hall. So let's see what we get. Now remember, when Radio DJ could not find, okay, no rotation, yeah, we know. Turn off auto DJ and automated, just turn it off. We could not find, remember when we couldn't find a song, we would go to the track manager and we would go to not found, and Kathy wasn't there. Now, because we're connected to the other computer, we're not going to see the stuff we had previously. So as you can see, this is the stuff I loaded in, temporarily loaded in. It's a bunch of jazz. I just grabbed the folder and just said, pull it all in. Okay, so I don't even remember if it's opened it up. Let me open it up over here to see. Because see, what people thought or think is they're going to see, it's going to look exactly the same. I can't say that that's true. So let me open up this other one and see what it looks like. We know the logo won't be the same. We know the time won't be the same. The plugins won't be the same unless you've loaded all of that in. None of that's going to be the same. Okay. So now on the remote computer, the color scheme is different, of course. The layout is different. So it's not going to be an exact replica of the other computer. Even though this is reaching into the database down the hall. Now, if I go to track edit, it can't find that. It can't find none of these songs, even though these are the songs in the remote computer. It can't find any of them because these songs, the hard drive that they point to is not on this computer. The hard drive that they point to is on the computer that's down the hall. Even though I'm logged into the database of the computer down the hall. Okay? I can run this other one. That's not going to make this one run. They're independent of each other. The only thing that they share is what's in the database. That's all they share. They do not share setups. Now, there's a possibility under options. It says, well, it depends on which version you got. Some versions have this is 2034. Some versions have store settings in the database. And he's found out that to be problematic. Maybe if that was possible, these two could mimic each other. The other one, this version is 2020. Let me see. Yeah, so this one has store settings in database and it is checked. But those settings did not transfer over to this. I'm assuming they're sharing the same database. So what I'm seeing here is, yeah, it'll load the music. And it might load the events. Now, the other computer has no events on it. Let me see if I can, how can I do this? If I can actually bring that one up on the screen so we can see it. It says turn on some remote connections. See if we can't get this to, see if we can connect to it. All right, so I'm going to pull this over so you can see. This is the other computer. And this is the computer that we're mimicking. Okay, it doesn't look the same. As you can see, the search looks way off to me. So let me go over here. This is the remote computer that I'm working on now. Let me go to search. And let's turn off all the unnecessary stuff that we don't want. You know what? I'm going to turn path on so we can see that these are not the same. This is going to become problematic if you try to connect two databases or connect two RadioDJ's to the same database. I know a lot of people want to do it. It's extremely problematic. You would have to mimic the machines down to the T. I mean, the drive letters, everything, you would have to mimic everything down to the T. Okay. All right, so this is, you see what we just did. I just changed the layout in the search function on the remote computer. And we see the two good, and then we added the duration, and we added the location. Look at the location. It's on an E drive. But this E drive is on the remote computer. So when I go back over to where we are now, you see we have the two good, we have that, we have the duration and count played. I don't have the location, but let's add that. Let's add the path. So you can see that although I'm connected, okay, although I'm connected, you see it's saying E drive, the triad come up. But that's on the remote. So if I go to my E drive here, there is no the triad come up. They don't match. This is why if you try to play it, it won't play. So I'm going to grab this and throw it into the queue. The queue kicked it out. It will not play it. So now let's create a rotation. Because you're trying to play a song that's, you're trying to play a file actually that's located somewhere else on another computer. So we'll make that the track rotation. And as you can see, all of these are in here, right? Watch what happens when I try to run this thing. The stuff won't, it won't even go. It won't play, right? And then if I go to track manager and I go show me not found, look what it did. It added all the stuff to the not found list. Now let's see how that, what effect that's going to have on the remote. Because I can tell you right now, the remote, you're not going to want to do this. All right, so now here's the remote. And let's kind of refresh it a little bit. Look at that. Everything disappeared. Why? Because on this computer, that on the remote computer, I tried to play this stuff, but this stuff can't be found. So since it can't be found, it got removed. Where did it go? It went to the track manager, not found section. This is why this is not a good idea to do this. Because if you try to play this on the remote computer, what you're doing is you are shutting down the main computer, because now the main computer, because that, you know, we tried to play the files that are not on the local computer. We try to play them on the remote computer. When we go to the track manager, these files are going to come up as not found. Okay. Now show all shows everything, but if I go to enable, nothing. If I go to disable, nothing. If I go to not found, oh, there they are. So connecting to one database using two radio DJs is not a good idea. Now let's see if the events trigger transfer over. So let's just make an event. Don't matter. We'll make an event. Pull from a category. Don't matter. Okay. We're going to do it every day, every hour. And we're going to add the event. And the event is enabled. So that's going to give us these events. Okay. Now let's go back over here. Let's go see the events right there. Let's go back over to the computer, our remote computer. We don't see the events, but if we click on them, they will show up. So yeah, the events will transfer over. The problem is if you try to create an event over here, right? And you go to event actions, you can pull from here and you can set up the events. That's about the only thing you can do. Provided you don't play none of this stuff. If you play this stuff, it's not, you're going to kill your main station. See, the main station is dead now. It can't play nothing because we tried to play it remotely and it's not over there. So it threw it out. It completely threw it out. We would have to go back over to the track manager. You don't even have to go to the track manager. Let's do utilities, verify tracks. Don't delete them. Just go. Look at that. Look at all them tracks it found. It found all these tracks. All right. So let's close this out. Let's go back over here, refresh it a little bit. Go to music. There they go. So we need a rotation because these are brand new stations. They don't have anything. And I'm going to say 555. Now I'm connected. This is the remote computer. Okay. So I'm setting this up in the remote computer. Hit save. Boom, they load it up. Now they're playing. That's on the remote computer. Now come back over here to the main computer. They're not going to play over here. Even though these guys are tied into the same database, they operate independent of each other. Now, if I refresh this right here, everything is going to come back. Okay? Everything is going to come back, provided I do not try and play this stuff. Because if I play it over here and this system knocks it out over here. Why? Because they're tied into the same database. And if they're tied into the same database, what I do on one affects the other. But this one, the remote one, it destroys the other one. You don't want to do that. The best thing to do is what I got going here, and that's I'm using Google Remote. Okay. It's free. You can use Google Remote to log in. We can go full screen on it. Okay. You can use Google Remote to log into your system, Google Remote Desktop to log into your system and do what you need to do. That is the best way to do it. Trying to connect the databases is not the best way to do it. I was helping a client out today, and when I tried it, I say, because I was curious, I just wanted to know what would happen if I took one radio DJ on another computer and connected to the same database that a radio DJ on the other computer is running. You can do that, but again, they are not going to run simultaneously. They are totally different things. They're on different time clocks. Even the events, now events and things will run in lows. So for instance, let's look at, let's see what happens. Let's run an event that's going to kick off in the next few minutes. So let's go to this event. It is 24 after. So let's do 25. Yeah. So it's 25 after. Let's see if it updated over here. No, it did not update over here. Let's click on that. Refresh. Okay, there you go. Now it updated over here. So it's gonna throw a song in the queue if I'm not mistaken. Let me go over here and look. Well, I can look at it over here. Let me see what this event's supposed to do. I should have made it a real event. Okay, yeah. It's going to just grab one of these songs and throw it into the queue. And we already know what's going to happen there. The remote computer, when it throws into the queue, is going to mark it as not found. And that's going to update the database on the main system, and it's going to mark that one not found. So this is not a good idea. This is not, trust me, this is not a good idea. What idea is that? Connecting one database to two different radio DJs. You would think that they would be the same, but they're not. Matter of fact, this one is not even going to load. Well, yeah, it will. Yeah, it will. Because it's going to try to load, but as you see, it's not going to do it because it can't play it. So let's go to Track Manager. We're not going to touch nothing. We haven't touched anything. And let's go to Not Found. See? One of these, it just threw in the queue and couldn't play it and marked it as not found. So that means now on the main computer, the one that's going out over the air, the same thing just happened. It got marked not found when actually it is found. It's over on the main system. So this is not, this is not a good idea. It is really not a good idea. Your best bet is to remote in using Google Chrome or Google Remote Desktop or whatever your favorite remote desktop system is. That's your best bet. Just do it that way. I hope this answers a lot of questions about can I connect two radio DJs to the same database? You sure can. And you're going to have a nightmare of a time on your hands. You're going to have a nightmare of a time on your hands. I hope this has helped, guys. I really do. If you haven't done so, make sure you click subscribe, click like the video, like any of the videos if they have helped you. If you have not signed up for howtoUseRadioDJ.com, there were some things I did not have in place. So the site was coming up 404. But I hope I got all that worked out. It's free to sign up. So when you go over there, make sure you sign up. There are other videos in there that are not on YouTube due to copyright issues. And hope this has helped. Until next time, guys. Peace.